The Roman Republic was the successor government to the monarchy which had ruled Rome in its earliest history. According to tradition, in 509 BC, a political revolution swept the city and successfully overthrew Tarquinius Superbus, or Tarquin the Proud, the last Roman king. Modern views are more nuanced as to the manner in which Rome was transformed from a monarchy to a republic. But in either case, Rome adopted a governmental style that combined monarchical and democratic forms. Legend holds that Rome was ruled by 7 kings from the time of its founding in 753 to the establishment of the Republic in 509. Although these kings maintained autocratic power over their subjects, the institution of the Senate developed during this period to serve as an advisory council to the kings who they nominated to the throne. Roman myth tells us that Tarquin the Proud was expelled from the city after his son raped a noble woman, causing outrage amongst the patricians who drove him out. Ancient historians also accused him of murdering a number of leading senators and refusing to bury his predecessor, thus greatly offending the Roman people. Historical explanations are more opaque. It may have been that Tarquin the Proud, the son of Rome's 5th king, Tarquinius Priscus, was attempting to establish a hereditary monarchy which was hitherto unprecedented in Rome at that time, or that his overthrow was the result of direct foreign intervention by the king of Clusium, who militarily expelled Rome's king, creating a power vacuum in which the republican system developed. Or indeed, there may be some truth in all of these accounts. Regardless, the early republican government did not greatly differ from that of the monarchy. One instrumental change, however, was that rather than elect a single king, the Senate began to nominate 2 consuls. These consuls had much the same authority that had been held by the kings. However, because there were 2 of them, equal in power, they could balance each other and keep the other in check. Also, the consular term of office was only for a single year. Thus, at the expiration of their term, consuls could be held accountable for their actions and prosecuted for any offense that they committed while in office. This early form of republican government did not satisfy the Roman masses, however. Roman society was highly stratified, with the patricians through the Senate and the consular office dominating political life. The early republican days were also fraught with continual conflicts between Rome and her Italian neighbors. Many common Romans were trapped in a cycle of debt as Rome's wars forced them away from their fields, many of which were ravaged by enemy armies for prolonged periods of time. Since they were unable to work their land, many plebeians went into debt to sustain themselves and their families. This, along with their lack of political influence, caused great resentment among the plebeians. This resentment finally boiled over in the secession of the plebs in 494. The populace had by this time made their grievances widely known to the Senate, which was stricken by indecision and refused to act. Rome's enemies sought to take advantage of this internal discord, and thus the Sabines, Aequi, and Volsci all initiated hostilities with the city. In response, the Romans nominated a dictator to restore the situation. Once her enemies were defeated, the dictator implored the Senate to redress the grievances of the plebeians, but was refused. This further inflamed the masses, such that when hostilities once more commenced, rather than enlisting in the army, the plebeians retreated to the Mons Sacer, the sacred mountain outside of the city. They refused to fight Rome's external enemies, nor did they take any aggressive action against the patricians. Eventually, the Senate negotiated an agreement by which a new office was created, that of the tribune. The tribunes were to be selected from amongst the plebeians in order to protect their interests. This satisfied the people, at least for the moment, but succeeding decades would see further secessions of plebeians and accompanying reforms. Although the Republic would continue to evolve as new offices and governmental bodies were created over the centuries, these events had set the tone of the Republican government. The Romans, having been subject to kings, were extremely wary of allowing any single man or institution to wield too much power. Thus, a strict doctrine of separation of powers emerged in order to protect the rights and interests of all classes and citizens. The Roman Republic would endure for nearly 500 years and would provide a model of exemplary government which continues to influence governments to this day.